So Lawrencetown is kind of like home for you.
Yes, yeah. I'm really lucky where, again, I have the property and I have a community, but I've kind of dotted around as well, like out to Cow Bay.
Yeah.
Spent last winter there with a really nice family. So this whole Eastern Shore is kind of my
So we're going down this way, are we?
Yeah.
All right. The ocean has always played an important part in life in Nova Scotia. And that goes true for dog owners as well, who bring their dogs here to swim in the waters, to go for a walk along the beach and just explore. Well, when they explore, of course, they find that the tides have brought garbage from the water depths. Well, here in Lawrencetown, one woman has combined her passion for dogs, for the ocean, and for protecting the environment, and is making leashes from rope like this that she finds on her daily walks. That's today on NSK9.
I grew up in Moncton and Shediac, and Moncton's quite close to the Bay of Fundy, right? The Fundy National Park, and Shediac is along the Northumberland Strait. And so I, every summer, would go and camp in National Park, Fundy, the highest tides in the world, and just be totally amazed, but actually had no sense that this was something so special nowhere else in the world. I just thought the whole ocean was this incredible everywhere. I was obsessed in sciences and natural sciences, so I came to Dal naturally and got my first degree, got a second degree, and then stuck around to surf.
Alexandra has a love for the ocean, and it would be that love and a lost leash that would result in a new business opportunity.
Happens every time.
And so it was the full moon in September. We were out on walking Blomidon, and it was so beautiful. I was so captured by the rise of the full moon that I totally just put it down somewhere and had no idea where to put it. So we came back and I was like, I need a leash. Didn't want to go buy one because I hate having to create more material that's not needed. It just felt a little frivolous. But I had this rope actually. I found this on the beach last spring in the height of COVID, and for whatever reason I had picked it up and brought it home and figured I'd do something with it, but it had sat in storage for the better part of a year. And so I came home and I was like, well, I've got rope, and to be honest, I'd been using a surf leash, like for your surfboard. I would connect one end to Rosie and hold on to the other end. And so I was like, I can make something out of rope. If I can use a surf leash, I can make a dog leash out of something else. So it was very rudimentary. This is, I'll show you, a much more advanced version than the prototype was. We just made one, and then I put it on. I actually had asked people if they had a spare leash, and everyone's like, well, we kind of need all ours for the same reasons in case we lose one. So I was like, I'll just create my own, and then I shared it online and showed people that, I could make it and you could too, and I got a lot of interest really quickly about it, and so I made a few more and they sold out, and I was like, well, if we're gonna make these, I'm gonna create some donations out of them too, and give them to the Marine Animal Response Society, who disentangles whales and things that unfortunately get, tangled up at sea. But yeah, long story short, Rosie was the inspiration.
Rosie's inspiration goes beyond just being the dog who lost her leash. Rosie was also found after being lost, much like the fishing rope from the ocean.
Rosie and I's story is a long one. So she just turned 10, and I've had her since she was a puppy. So we got her 10 years ago, fresh from the breeder, the little farm. And I had her for 3 years, my partner and I at the time. And when we broke up, he took our dogs, never to see them again. And I had no idea where she was, if she was alive. And I'm a dog person, so I couldn't just go out and go get another dog. My heart broke that I didn't know whatever happened to her. And last summer, I was up in the Arctic on an expedition for work, and I got a text just as we were throwing the wharf lines and like heading to sea for 2 weeks. And you're at sea in the Arctic, there's no internet, there's nothing, right? So we were throwing the wharf line, and I got a text in the last like 5 minutes that I had service. And it was a friend that I used to work with when I was 16 years old that reached out and said, hey, we know the person who has your dog Rosie, and she's looking to rehome her, and we thought you didn't get the chance the first time. Would you like to have her this time? And again, I was like, oh, we're starting to float away from the dock. I had like 3 minutes to like process this. And I was like, absolutely, here's my number, pass it on. I'll be back in cell service in 2 weeks, and I'll come get her as soon as I'm back to the mainland. And that's what happened. I got back to shore and slept for about 2 days, and then found her. She was on Grand Manam, so I drove all the way over, took a ferry. It was a beautiful summer day. It was an adventure. And she wasn't in a great spot. It wasn't a great fit for her, and definitely had accumulated some trauma. So I rolled up the driveway, and she came flying at me, barking, teeth baring, and I kind of just like took a knee and said Rosie as sweetly as I could, and she hit the brakes, came over and jumped on me and gave me a big hug and a kiss, and then we've been reunited it's been just over a year now.
Did you think you'd ever be able to get reunited with her?
I never thought it was gonna. I had no expectations ever of seeing her again. I had to let her go 7 years ago. Come here, Rosie. And it's like quite literally a miracle that like we found each other again.
Because she's had a whole adventure that you don't even know about.
No idea. So we've been separated for 6 years of her 9-year life at that point. But it's all been a really organic process. Like definitely didn't start making leashes because I had a business idea. It was because we lost Rosie's, and then I had some friends that were just as interested. So it turned into this whole thing, and and here we are, right, Rosie?
Dogs actually do get heart disease, and it is quite common. However, unlike in humans, dogs tend not to get coronary heart disease. Rather, they get heart disease related to the heart valves. And also, unlike people, genetics is often an influencer in dogs getting heart disease over lifestyle.
So, I'll give you a little tour.
All right, let's go.
Not a lot going on. So this bucket over here, I've got my bait bag full of yesterday's treasures, which I brought in because there's something really special about this.
Okay.
I found yesterday a piece of rope that exactly matches the rope. It's the exact same rope that I've been working with for over a month now since I began. And to me, it's just like the most incredible positive affirmation one could ever ask for as far as like beach cleanups go. So I'm really excited. It's obviously not long enough to make a leash, but I had a couple offcuts. I've been trying to like minimize my waste, obviously, because obviously the whole principle of this is keep the waste minimal. In fact, go negative on the waste, make it actually upcycled. So I've been creating collars. These are the 2 collars I've made. And so I think I've got just enough with this one to maybe make one that'll fit Rosie. So I'm really excited. So this is a brand new prototype. I don't have these on the website yet or anything. I just started creating them.
That's really nice.
And the design is much like the logo, it's a shen, which is ancient symbol for protection and abundance. So yeah, hopefully this. Rosie, do you want to put it on? I'll show you. This one's a little too big for her, so it slides right on, but the idea is that it doubles up. It's nice and sturdy. Is that better? Does that fit you better? There you go.
I love that you can see it a mile away. You get an eye for marine debris, where things don't look organic, but I think it's the coolest thing is that it's always so colorful. Oh, this is going to be
it's a big
good
piece too.
one.
Wow. But I mean, this is the kind of stuff you're seeing all the time, isn't it?
Everywhere, all over. Again, in Nova Scotia, the fishing industry is such a big part of our identity, right? In our culture and our history and everything. So we'll take that too. There was no shortage of lost and abandoned and derelict fishing ropes. So we find lobster traps and ropes, but from monofilaments to rope as thick as my arm, and you can find it all over. I saw a picture recently, and it looked like the size of a Costco warehouse of just abandoned fishing rope that gets discarded every year.
How does that make you feel?
Like I got a lot of leashes to make.
But I mean, that's a very positive outlook, right? I mean, you could look at that in a very negative sense, and
you could, but then where's the optimism? How do you ever take action if you feel defeated out of the gates, right?
Feeling defeated would be really easy. After all, the material that Alexandra is collecting has very real consequences if left in the environment.
It does pose a risk not only for ingestion, but entanglement, right? So and
that's become a big issue with like right whales. I mean, we hear other animals too, but right whales is what we really hear about.
It's one of the leading threats to their existence right now.
Oh, and there's actually some orange rope down there too.
Is there?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, totally.
Oh, just a little piece, but
well, that's often what you find. Yeah.
But I mean, it comes from fishing, but you're not blaming the fishermen.
No, you can't. You can't. It's, this is such a bigger problem than trying to blame it on one industry. It's how we consume in this world, right? And so again, just coming back to that reduce, reuse, recycle mentality, it's, as a consumer, I have all of the power.
Rosie has become part of finding this stuff.
Yes, she's pretty good at it, actually. And she's always down to spend as long on the beach as is needed. So if we get on a roll and we're out here for a couple hours, then she's my companion.
And really, this is only happening because of Rosie in a lot of ways, right?
A lot of it, yeah.
Because if you didn't have a dog and you didn't need a leash,
that's right.
This wouldn't have started.
Absolutely. I'd be picking up garbage and just putting it in the garbage can where it belongs, and that would be it. If I'm doing what I can, doing my small part to help the ocean be healthy and happy, I'm having probably the greatest impact on making sure the whole world is healthy and happy, where the ocean is such a disproportionate piece to that, disproportionately large and significant.
You've managed to connect your love of the ocean with surfing, with your love of dogs,
yes,
with beach garbage. Mm-hmm. That's impressive.
There's a lot of dots to connect. It's taken me a long time to connect them all, but you're right. It's definitely an accumulation of all of my passions, which is why I love doing it so much.
Because I mean, you could have done art projects. Like there's lots of things you could do with beach garbage. Because people do different things, right?
Yeah.
I mean, people have bracelets that are made of ocean plastic and everything, but you decided to do something for dogs.
Well, I've been inspired by my community for so long. I know so many wonderful humans who do big art installations, like bigger than either one of us put together. And so I've been around the idea of marine debris becoming art for a long time, but I haven't encountered anything quite functional like this that I could actually take out to the world and show off. Like I can't take a knitted jellyfish that weighs as much as my car out on the street and raise awareness that way. This is something I can do that's really practical, that's everyday, that other people can see and like be curious about and interact with as well. So yeah, I guess it's my own form of art, I suppose.
Do you want to try? I can show you.
All right, okay, all right.
All right, so we got to twist this piece apart so that you've got some space, right?
This is the part of every episode where Andrew embarrasses himself.
Okay, so we just twisted it apart.
Yep.
Now.
So this one's going in.
Yeah, so it's
there?
going over. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Nailed it. Okay, now we're gonna keep going around. So this one.
Okay, so that one's gonna go in there.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I think I would.
I think I made that up. No, hold on. We're not.
No, I'm sure I messed it up because I'm very good at messing these things up.
But I'm the one here trying to drive this boat. So hold on.
All right.
I'll take
We're
responsibility.
really doing good on the ocean metaphors here.
Oh my gosh. There's so many ocean puns to be at. Okay, so we found the. Oh, there we go.
All right, so I want to go through that one.
That's the one.
All right, so this is the one I'm going through. Okay.
There you go.
I think I would get lost.
Well, that's kind of the meditative part, right? Because it's like, it's very monotonous if you kind of zoom or zone out there for a second. But you're just kind of doing the same thing over and over again. Okay, so that one goes through there. Yep.
Okay. All right.
There, we're almost done.
So this one's going to go right in here,
Yeah.
right?
And you can twist it apart to make that whole space a little bit bigger for you. Nailed it.
There you go. And those are, I mean, that's never coming
It's
apart.
never coming apart.
Dogs do get cavities, however, it's pretty uncommon. Most of the time, what they actually get is something called periodontal disease, which is very common in dogs of all breeds. And what it is a separation between the tooth and the bone, and it creates a little pocket of infection, and that can spread, and oftentimes we actually have to remove the tooth when that gets too bad.
It changed who I was in bringing Rosie into my life again, because I had to really practice what I preach as far as like being really present and being really patient and really calm, because everything triggered her.
People bring you stuff too, right?
Yeah, which again, I think is like the most exciting part of this whole project. It's one thing for me to come out and do my beach walks and find my garbage. What I've always wanted to instill is that, again, that awareness, and for people to go out and do it themselves. And with this project now, I mean, people know me to be, again, like the crazy garbage picker upper of the beach, but other people are starting to do it. So this is actually a beautiful example of what someone actually just dropped off for me. So I was explaining earlier, Rosie, that you know, the biggest part in all this for me is the awareness that I'm trying to inspire and generate. And so this is the culmination, I think, of that actually coming to fruition. So I had a friend message me, told me she found a bundle of rope, if she could drop it off, and I said yes, and I had no idea what to expect. And it's, again, quite beautiful. This to me is like the whole point of doing what I'm doing, not just to create leashes and you know, create donations as well for Marine Animal Response Society, but it's actually to get people to start thinking about what they see on the beach.
And this happens a lot, right?
All the time, all the time. And hopefully only more and more.
So yeah, everything that's here on top is actually what I've already worked through disentangling wise. So this is free. This is what
I mean, you
I've
have
been...
like fishing nets and everything in here.
Oh my gosh, you have no idea how long this has taken me. So I put 12 hours into just disentangling it, and then it's hours of washing and cleaning, right?
And the other thing is, like, I come out here every day with Rosie, every day, and we get 2 tide cycles a day. I find new garbage every day.
Wow. And how much of it can you turn into leashes and other dog things?
Not a lot of it, but most of the time we find like little bits of plastic.
Could you have imagined this is what you would be doing? Making leashes from beach garbage?
No. If you told me 2 months ago I was going to do this, I wouldn't have believed you. But 2 months ago, I still had a leash for Rosie that I had bought and hadn't lost it yet, and then out of necessity, didn't need to make one yet. So necessity's the mother of invention, right?
You talked about this being really beautiful and everything, but it is, and it's also garbage at the same time.
I know, and it's all about your perception, right? Like, there is really ugly garbage, I'm not gonna lie. But as far as, again, like the concept of ocean optimism, if you see everything in a negative light, it's paralyzing. You're not gonna do anything. You're gonna look at garbage and go, ew, gross, and like not touch it. Whereas I call them ocean treasures and trinkets and things now.
You stayed for
the surfing.
Which is kind of interesting, and I mean, I know this isn't totally dog related, however, people come from all over the world to surf here.
Oh my God, we have world-class waves here. We're so lucky. And it's one of those things growing up in New Brunswick, and even it's right next door, I had no idea.
I don't think most people in Nova Scotia realize that like this is such a surfing mecca.
It is, and it's only getting bigger. It's so wonderful to be part of a community that's just growing.
So do you envision your leashes going global with this sort of message?
I can't see why not.
Because you're connecting to these people, right, in different ways, surfing and science and marine management and dogs.
That's the idea, and the whole point with the leashes for me is that awareness, right? That this is a global issue. The ocean faces global threats. I mean, this is a culmination of a whole bunch of things I really like to do. I love long walks on the beach with my dog and picking up garbage as we go. You're a sweetheart. This is the most dangerous thing on our planet right now. So if we pick it up and help spread the awareness that everyone on any beach walk anywhere, not even beaches, like along rivers and lakes and anything, you're saving the ocean every single time. And it's just cool that we can turn in, some of it, cool parts of it, into leashes. But more importantly, we're creating a global message of what it means to actually save the ocean.
Yeah, if we hadn't got excited about a stick we were throwing, a blomidon, and lost the leash, and hadn't gone on a beach walk and found the rope like months and months prior, none of this would have happened. Thank goodness for Rosie. In Rosie we trust.
Visit us online to tell us your dog stories for possible inclusion in future episodes. And don't forget to share photos of your canine friends on social media with the hashtag NSK9.
None of this would be anything without Rosie's inspiration. I'm the assistant. I'm the one with the opposable thumbs making it all happen.
If you're a golfer, you have a love-hate relationship with Canada geese, at best. But border collies may be part of the solution. That's next week on NSK9.
Oh, this is a border collie's dream. We have literally about 650 acres of golf courses we do, and it's all off leash. And
so you get the biggest giant off-leash playground that no other dog can play on.
And that's appealing to people, except there's a lot more to a golf course than just the geese. So you got tractors, you got equipment, you got mowers, you got blowers, you got golfers, golf carts.
Golf balls.
Golf balls you can't touch. Golf etiquette. So you can't be putting geese up or be around people that are putting or driving or chipping or whatever. You can't run in sand traps, you can't run on tee boxes or greens. There's a lot of moving parts to this.